It's been a while since I made a video. Some updates from the last one. I got out of gender therapy. I did get permission to get my letter to start hormone therapy whenever I visited an endocrinologist. I'm not on testosterone like I had originally thought I would be. It's well past January, which was my goal. Um, the reason why is just that some personal issues arose and I couldn't get it because of healthcare and money, basically. So that was a major letdown. It was really difficult to deal with because I got like the green light for everything else, and then it was just that crushing everything. So that was very painful for me, very personal. I kind of took it as a personal thing, like, oh, maybe this wasn't meant to be, but obviously it's not that. I do plan to become more independent, move out, start my own healthcare plan. This the main topic of this video was being transgender in the workplace. I know that a lot of transgender folk are a little bit cautious about entering the workplace because they were a little bit worried about like the pronouns, the respect, using the bathroom, and especially if it's a customer like hands-on kind of workplace, then it's very difficult because they can mess up your pronouns, it can totally crash your confidence. I get it. I went through a lot of that actually. So my first job was at a Subway. It was a really slow, not well known location. So I didn't have too many customers. I did have some regular customers. Um, at the time, like, I had a really shitty manager. I told him I was transgender, what pronouns I liked, that I went by Dylan, and it seemed like he respected that, but at the same level, he didn't. He was also an Uber driver, and he would tell a lot of his clients he worked with a very diverse group because I am a Asian trans man. And he actually got one of his clients to work at his Subway, and when he came in, he's like, "Oh, you're the trans guy," and I was a little upset that he already knew that. Like, I wanted to be the one to tell him, like, it should be your choice to come out to other people if you're comfortable. Um, it shouldn't be someone else's, especially your manager, to come out for you. So that was very awkward. I told him yes, I was trans, and I asked him how he knew, and he's like, "Oh, your manager told me." One of my best friends actually, she she started working there, and she already knew I was trans because of the interview with the manager. He was one of the main reasons I left Subway after working there for about half a year, give or take. I started seeking other jobs, something with a higher pay, something with a less destructive work aura, I guess. So I moved to work in a cafe, like soup, salad, sandwich cafe. I just was a simple line server. My interview went very well with the manager. I told her that I worked at a Subway, I was in charge of training new employees, and I was one of the few from the original team. Um, so our interview actually went on for an hour or more. I got a tour of the kitchen. I got to meet some of the other managers, like the hospitality manager, a catering coordinator, some of the other line servers and shift leads, and I was hired on the spot. I did tell her, "Hey, my legal name is not Dylan. I will give you all my legal, like my social security stuff, my driver license with my legal name, and I'll use that for the documents, but I go by Dylan, and I'm a trans man. And I did tell her that I would not join or take the job offer if her staff had a problem with me being trans. And she said that if there was a problem, she would talk to them because it was my right to be respected. The only people she told was her manager partner, and I was really appreciative of that. When I started working there, I worked right next to the manager. She would personally train me, so I thought that was really nice. I really enjoy where I work. I've worked there for about 8, almost 9 months now. It's a decent job. I like it. It's in the food industry. There's a lot of customers, and I did have to interact with them. Be like, oh, would you like to sample any soups today? Any salads? Or do you know what dressing you'd like with that salad, etc.? And I was very anxious. People would be, it was like almost 50-50, like, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, kind of thing. The uniforms, like, even the smallest shirt, I'm a very small guy. I'm 5'5", 113 pounds, so I'm very small. And the smallest shirt is very large. It goes down to my thighs. It's a good thing that I wear an apron over it, so it makes it less big. But because of my size, a lot of people thought I was, like, feminine. There's not a lot of men that are small like that. And I'm just kind of thin. But working with my coworkers, it was very enjoyable. I did come out to them because I am very confident about being a trans man. I really like being viewed as an open trans man, and I answered any questions they had unless it got too personal, like, how do you have sex? And at that point, I would just answer, however you want to view sex is how it should be seen as. Like, if I'm not sleeping with you, it shouldn't be a problem. But to answer that question, I have sex how I want to, basically. There was a couple coworkers who were kind of, like, messed up. They would ask me certain things like, oh, have you gotten the surgery? Like, do you have a dick, etc. And I know that some of them were joking around, like, being assholes, and I got it. They were funny. I didn't take it personally. I just was, like, a little bit annoyed, but I was like, haha, blah blah, give them a shitty ass answer. But most of the employees and coworkers I met, they were very nice, respected my name, my pronouns, were just very kind people. I did get promoted to a manager position. I got promoted to a shift lead and prep cook, so I got to actually get, like, hands-on in the kitchen. I have trained people in the kitchen, actually. And my manager thinks very highly of me. She said that, because I did tell her about issues with some coworkers who purposely misgendered me and called me she. So she was kind of my confidant. She was very kind. She said if anyone had problems with me, they would talk to them. And she did end up talking to 2 employees about my genders and how I like to be called and how I needed to be respected. They did come and apologize personally. One of them said that he's never come across the concept of transgender, and it was very difficult for him to understand, and I just told him, it's okay. This is what I like, and you don't have to fully understand to respect someone. And I said if he had any questions, I would answer them to the best of my abilities. And we just got along after that. something that I want to tell like young trans people, even older generations, I guess. If you're going into the workforce, don't have certain expectations. As in, like, that they won't accept you because you're trans. Understandably, it's hard to get a job and come out as trans, or get a job being openly trans. It's difficult for anyone, understandably. But don't be afraid to, like, tell them this is who you are, this is what you need, and if it really comes down to it and they say that they're not giving you the job, I don't think they can legally say it's because of your gender, because that's gender discrimination, and I believe that is against the law or the company policies. HR, corporate, they've never had a problem with me being trans. I've never really, like, done anything crazy. Haven't, like, killed anyone. Haven't, messed up and gave someone food poisoning. I don't know. Haven't gotten any complaints about me from customers. I've only gotten compliments, which I thought was kind of nice because no one's ever given me too many of those. If you are afraid to come out and tell your employer that you are trans, then don't feel the need to. If you really want that job, but you don't feel comfortable coming out, then you need to compromise. Like, if you really want that job, then don't conform to gender norms, but at the same time, don't feel pressured to come out. If your employer hires you and you don't like the pronouns they're using for you, you can correct them if you feel confident enough to do so. Basically, you want to be comfortable in the workplace, and you want to be comfortable with your manager and your employers, any coworkers, etc. But it's not totally hopeless to get a job in the workplace. You can 100% be an open trans guy like me and get a job. It doesn't have to be like some high-end host waiter job. It can just be like retail, maybe a fast food franchise. Either way, you're going to need money to sustain yourself. If you're having difficulties getting testosterone like I am, or if you want to save up for future like trips, hobbies, future surgeries, whichever you want, then you're going to need money and you're going to have to get a job. It can be like, it doesn't have to be a face-to-face job. You could be an artist and do commissions. You can be a voice actor. I don't know. Whatever job that you desire, you can get if you put in enough effort and have the motivation to continue. If you do become more comfortable coming out, then definitely come out to someone that you feel comfortable with. And I would suggest asking them not to share it with someone else, because it's not their place to share it. It's yours, and honestly, it should only be yours. So I hope that if you're trying to find a job in the workplace, that this video helps you, maybe gives you a little bit of confidence that you don't have to be like jobless. Just, you can get a nice sustainable job with some nice people. You might have to do some searching around for it, but it'll be there. And it's totally possible to be openly trans in the workplace. So, thank you so much. and hopefully I'll post another video sooner than I posted this one. Bye.